Good morning to the viewers and our speaker today, our special guest today. Before I go into the introduction of our speaker, I'll just remind the viewers out there watching live about the Q&A session. Just for you guys bring your knowledge, if you have any questions to ask, you can comment it in the YouTube live chat. We'll get it. The questions be answered by the speaker when the time is appropriate. Today's session won't be moderated unlike yesterday's lah. Today will be a slot presentation from the speakers, and it will be ended by a Q&A session. So let us introduce our speaker today, Khairul. Khairul previously worked before in an MNC, a very big company indeed. So I'll just pass it to Khairul to introduce about himself and the company that you're in. You may have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Lihang. Okay, my name is Hanif, and I'm a multimedia senior. So, for the last internship, I had my I had mine at Schlumberger and the MNC company. So Schlumberger is world leading in oil and gas services. So technically the number one in the world. And the one that I'm interning was at uh, Jalan Piramli, just a few blocks after KLCC, around KLCC lah. So, can I show my slide now?
Yeah, sure. We are waiting for your presentation.
Okay, I'm gonna go straight to what I did before the internship. So first thing first, I will compile all my portfolio that I've done in the past. So basically all the graphic design, all the program project, and in this case, I have an Electron project where Electron is basically like a framework where you can create an apps as a mobile or a desktop. I think it's for a desktop for now. And then I had my game development project for my last final year project during my diploma. So all those things that I've done, I compile it as my portfolio. So about my game development, so I actually have had my first internship before this during my diploma days, which means that uh, this degree is my second internship. So the previous internship, I was a junior developer at MySysNet. It's an IT company which outsource some government system like the LHDN. And then after I've done my internship for like 6 months, I continue to work part time under the same manager, but in a different company, which called Aurora Works. Both in these two company, uh, technically what I've done is that I'm handling and maintaining the LHDN EMS and EMS mobile apps. EMS is the employee management system. So, and also handle the EMS database, the ACW website, and also I had the chance to mentoring new intern during my previous internship and part time. So basically, what I've done for the first internship and the second internship after compile my portfolio is that I will create my CV or resume. Mostly this thing I really took advice for other people. I mean, like I don't really go for any talks about how to create your resume. So I'm the easy guy. I go for any websites that can create some easy resume or CV. So the few websites I've done for the resume is like resume.io, resume.me, resumecompass.com, and also I Google for tricks and tips to create my resume and CV.
Google is
And after
always the
that,
answer.
yeah, Google is basically the best one, best resource lah to find tips and tricks. And then after that, I've done all that. I start to look for a company, and there are several platforms that I've used to find the companies that I want to intern to. So those are the internships.com, graduate.com, morekerja.com, getmehired.com, my glassdoor.com, and of course the Twitter. Because actually, the social media like Twitter or the Facebook, sometimes they post about internship opportunities. So just search in the like explore, search for internship. Usually there will be some that will appear. And another one tip about if you want to know about your the working condition of the company that you want to intern, you can go to glassdoor.com, because basically Glassdoor, it does provide a platform for you to find an internship place, but it also shows any review from past or current employee that during the time in that company. So yeah, if you want to know if the company is good or not, just go to Glassdoor, search for that company, and you may find some.
How did you discover Slumberjay?
Okay, actually, Slumberjay, I heard from my friend, my classmate actually. I heard that it has an opening, one for an IT in the IT department and another one in marketing department as a multimedia and graphic designer. So I heard it from him, and he asked me to join. So I took the opportunity to try to apply for Slumberjay. But before that, I tried to apply for other things also lah. Okay, moving on to the Slumberjay. Okay, like I said before, at that time, it had two openings, one for IT department and another one is multimedia and graphic designer. So technically, my friend got into the IT department, so I'm stuck in the multimedia and graphic designer in the marketing department. So maybe some of you will ask, does it relevant to my course in multimedia IT? I think yes, because my supervisor allowed me to. So just in case you guys were wondering, then after applied for the Slumberjay, several weeks later, I had a call interview from the HR. So technically, they will ask about uh, yourself, where you live, all those things, and then if you like have joined for any um, competition or any projects, may maybe like if you have been a team leader, things like that. He will ask you about the leader roles. Either you understood it, things like that. Then after that, he will just say that he will call later again to confirm my not the interview if I make it to the second one. So the second one is a face-to-face interview. So in this interview is where I'm the manager of the department. So it's the marketing department. I got into the marketing department. So in front of the manager, I show my portfolio and my resume. At that time, I call her Kak Suzy. She doesn't really look into my resume and CV. She will take time to look all through my portfolio that I've prepared for her. So, like, it's trying to say that she doesn't really look into your CGPA or things like that. Although, I'm trying to apply for internship in an MNC company, so things like that sometimes matter. But in this case, she just put it aside, and then she just took a time to look into my portfolio. So through my portfolio and through the face-to-face review, she wants to know me more about how I do it, all those graphic design or all those program projects, and also she will look how I look into my way of speech on how my body language are, things like that. And then fortunately, after at the end of the interview, she said that I can come to work right away, so I don't need to go through another interview for final interview. So was lucky to me that she really picked me among, I think there's another one contestant that
About your portfolio, what do you mind telling us what did you actually put inside a portfolio that interests the
okay,
interviewer?
in my portfolio, since I've applied for the multimedia and graphic designer, what I put is all my graphic designs that I've done during my freelance or during my class time, and also during my hobbies, things like that. So, and also if you join any competition and if you win some of the competition or not, just put it into those portfolio because it's your artwork, it's your like it's your masterpiece, right? So you have to show it to them so that they know what you are capable of doing with your talent or if your skills. So by that portfolio, maybe they will ask you some more about how you do it and can you make it more things like that.
The portfolio have to be related to the job that you're
Yeah, to
applying
what you
to.
are applying for.
Mhm.
So this is my second internship. For my first internship at the IT company, my portfolio consists of things like all the uh, projects that I've done for my final year project, which is the game development, and also the all the classwork or coursework that you have done previously in class. Just show it to them, just to show them that what you are capable to do. They ask about some things about some methods or some programming terms like that. If you really know about your thing, you should be able to answer it. But if you think now that you won't be able to answer it, so before going for an interview or at least before you're applying for an internship, uh, try to sharpen your skills in the programming or things that are related to the things that you are applying.
For your first internship application, and for our first internship application, we can actually put subject punya project inside. Like I did FOP, you have to do
Okay.
one project again. So I should put that inside as well if I
Yeah,
know about it.
you can put it. You can put it. It's not that you need to put your like personal project or hobby project like that. You can also put your coursework project to show them what you've done because some coursework have tasks like you need to do your own project with blah 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 things
Mm.
like that. So just put it in your portfolio. You don't have to like hide it, or at least they know what you are capable of doing by yourself. But if it's a coursework, at least state what that you have done for that group work. If you are doing a group work course, okay,
To show that you're
sharing,
competent lah.
yeah, not, uh, yeah, like that just to show that you know what you're doing, you know your things, you know your programming, and you know your stuff. But in case you didn't contribute to anything like in the group coursework or what, I suggest you try to look for something to add into your portfolio. Maybe your personal project, like what the previous speaker Afri have done, or any of these other speakers. So try to do your personal project as your hobby, or just to have something in your portfolio, because it's better than and have nothing in your portfolio to show them, can all talk but no like results, things like that.
You have to prove it lah.
Yeah, just to prove it to them you've done something. But that's the thing with the, if you want to apply for the software engineering or developer position, you have to have the uh, like a solid portfolio, solid project for you to show to your employer or your manager. Okay, and then moving on, after I got into my to the SLMJ, okay, SLMJ have ways in handling their interns, so they will conduct a briefing to all the interns. So at that time, there were several other interns present. So in that briefing, they will tell you the how to's in SLAMJ, the HSC. HSC is like health, safety, and environment. It's kind of like a safety policy in SLAMJ. And also they will show you, they will do an office tour around the office. Things like that. Things like, then move on to about SLAMJ. As you have said before, it's a world leading provider for oil and gas services. So it's technically number one. So my roles there is as a markup intern. So basically my team, not my team, my manager's team, only consists of three people. The marketing communication manager itself, and the marcom service specialist graphic designer, and then there's me. So you can see actually this team would cover the whole SEA region. So technically, only these three people would handle the marketing stuff for the SEA region. So it's quite a big role for me at the time when I think about it, because we, when just look at the number of the people, three people to handle all those things in SEM region is quite a lot. So you can like predict what the challenges and what the obstacles that you will face in the future, things like that.
When there's a
So
lot of challenges, you learn a lot, right? What did
yeah,
you actually
the more,
learn during the internship experience at Slumberjay? The kind of skills that you have picked up during the internship.
before I move on to that, maybe I can show you my job scope. So basically, several of my job scope for the Marcom intern is to create video content and production. It's where I create a video content for corporate event and event for internal or external event, and also for things like opening ceremony, the product launch, and the marketing. And then I have the graphic design creation roles where I create collaterals digitally and physically. So all the banners, bunting, flyers, things like that, and it's for marketing corporate purposes. and also things like dealing with contractor. By main contractor is that when you're handling all the events, the corporate events, you will deal with them on what to do during the event, on what requirements or what the stuff that you need to bring in, things like that, and also handling events and other medical stuff. Okay, so based on these several roles, okay, these are all the events that I have joined while I'm interning in Schlumberger. So with the job scope previously that I've shown to you, I have to apply it in all of these events. So there's like six, seven, eight events all together. So like for the video content creation and the design project. So each of those I need to do for every event, like the Selamat Hari Raya, Selamat Technology Day, PGCE 2019. So I have my own timeline for each of those events. I need to follow the due dates. So you can look through the events and just think how the hell I do all those works, those 8 events in just mere 6, 7 months. So you can think that it is quite can be quite tedious, time consuming. You have to be really punctual with your works. So you have to be precise with your work, things like that. So the one event that is interesting is the Islam Majid Hari Raya Open House. So uh, I start my intern on 1st July 2019, and the Islam Majid Hari Raya event was held 2 days after I've joined Islam Majid. So during
1st of July.
yes, 1st of July, and
Uh,
the Hari
but
Raya is on 3rd July.
but usually intern students will be starting their internship in the mid of August, right? Instead of
Yeah,
that,
yep. But in this case, the manager or the vacancy requires me to start my internship on 1st July. So which means I have one extra month before officially start my internship. But
like, are you
uh,
not worried about the thing that faculty won't approve your internship if you
actually, I've talked this with my coordinator and
Mhm.
supervisor. They said yes, I can do it if the company requires me to. So if your company requires you to get in early, like a month or a week, uh, just talk to your coordinator or supervisor that they need you to come in early, and yeah, they will probably allow you to do so. In my case, my supervisor, my coordinator allow me, so I get to join Sambuj like 1.5 month earlier on the 1st July. So the 1st July is basically 2 days after I've done my final examination for the previous semester. So that I had a 2 days holiday before I come for my internship on the 1st July. So and
it's
the Islamajah,
negotiable.
yeah, it's negotiable. It depends on your supervisor and your coordinator. At that time, my coordinator and supervisor allow me, so I get the chance to join early. And also the Hari Raya House at the time was held on 3rd July. So the challenges to catch up with the event on just several days after I joined my intern, it's quite uh, it's quite a bit hard, but I managed to do it by they will guide you, they will get they will show you what you are missing out, and they will try to help you catch up with things like that. So and then I have the Technology Day, the PGCE. So these two events just like after 1 or 2 months after I joined Scrum Method. So the timeline that I've given are quite short. So I need to catch up a lot of things because usually all these events they have been preparing for like 3 or 4 months prior. So for me that just joined Scrum Method at the time and with only 2 months left before the event really took a toll on me. So I had to go back late. I have to manage my time wisely. I can't really dilly dallying and waste my time. Then I have the other events, Cambodia, HSC for You, which is a volunteering event uh, conducted by interns. And also I have CEO visit where the CEO for HP itself came to Malaysia to do a visit around the office and around the management. So like I said before, for the agency for you, this is volunteering for other interns. Uh, this is where I do some volunteering with other interns to teach kids about health and safety, both the kids and the parents. So this is like the, the first event help by interns, and also it's an event that I need to come on weekends actually. So during my internship, there are a lot of things that requires me to come during my weekend or to go back late. So this is one of the events that this is for youth, and there's also the Camera Brunei opening ceremony, which is an opening ceremony held in Brunei. And this is where I collab with other interns at the Cameron. So Cameron is basically the child company of Slomjay. So during this event, I had the opportunity to collab with interns over there to produce some video graphics and also to help on the opening ceremony invitation and also all the other collaterals like digital invitation and physical invitation and also like the plaque for the client for uh, the giving ceremony. Then from all those events that are done and all those job roles that I've worked for, so there are several bad things that have occurred during my internship. So the first one is I was against school. Like in the early internship, I was against school a lot because this is an MNC company. So and I'm in the marketing department. All the things that related to marketing that had connection with clients, you need to be precise with your work. So they have guidelines to do your work. Like for the graphic designer, multimedia, they will provide you some guidelines on what you can do with the graphics, on what you can do with the logo, things like that. So I had to like go through the guidelines a lot, but still I make some like silly mistakes. So I'll get in school a lot early in the internship. And also I've been careless and not attending enough, things like that. It's my mistakes at the time early in my internship period. But as you move on, you will try to cope with that thing. We try to learn from your mistakes. You can't just rely on your manager or your colleagues to help you all the time. So you need to learn on the go. Uh, be like don't be a passive person. Be what's that? The opposite of passive. Uh, yeah, just
Active.
don't be a passive. Ah,
Be an active student.
yeah, be an active person so that you don't fall behind while doing your work. And also there are things where I have to do overtime work. So usually I will go back around like 10 p.m. the 11 p.m. on almost 12 p.m. It's because I had to prepare for some of stuff for the events on the next weekday. So there are many things that need to be prepared to take into consideration, to take into account. So most of the time I will do my work overtime, and also some of the event requires me to come on the weekends. But usually it's on Saturday, never on Sunday. But still, I need to come early on the Saturday and come back late around like 6 or 7 like that. And also, I'm doing the video production and graphic design, so you can assume that it's a repetitive work. So doing this work, um, you will get bored with all the stuff that you need to do the same thing all the time, and at some point you will feel like it's not changing enough for you because you've been doing the same thing, the same job roles, the video production, the graphic design. You will get the feeling at some point, but there's it's like it's nothing you can do about it. You just have to finish your work, be punctual about it, and just suck it up. Like it. And also, but among all the bad things that have happened, actually it's not a bad lah. It's bearable lah. But then there are some good things that happen also. So things like you get free snacks, like all the other interns or other company they provide free snacks like biscuits, cakes, just name it. Because in Schlumberger there's a lot of internal events that will be held. So on all those events, you will get free foods. So you don't have to worry about doing stuff, doing your work, something like that. And also, while I'm interning in Schlumberger, there's a segment for lunch and learn. It's a segment where the customer champion will have a lunch and learn for all the employee in Schlumberger to learn about other stuff. For example, like the engineering stuff on how to deal with clients and IT department stuff. So basically, the customer champion will pick one speaker to talk about their roles, their respective roles. So if in the weekend they will invite a speaker from the engineering department, the oil and gas engineering. They will talk about the engineering stuff, the oil and gas stuff. You will get to learn about other things other than your job roles, about your scope, about other things that doesn't relate with your work. You get the chance to learn more about it. And also there are many events being held in some jail, like I said before. And these events, you get to meet more people, and by meeting those people, you get to make connections with them and try to mingle with them. Also, these people are not like snobbish or like that. You can just have a conversation with them, just try a conversation. They will really glad to have a conversation with you. So most of the times, yeah, I get the chance to talk with some of the other managing directors, the other employees from different departments. They get that kind of opportunity when you joining those events. And also at some point, Also get to meet the CEO of the Islam from the HQ itself. It was an event that the marketing team and the management team have to deal with. So technically, the chance to meet with the CEO is quite new experience to me because it's a big guy. It's like you meeting with the big shots of the company. So the feelings like a bit surreal, but yeah, it's fun doing those things. Then for some tips during internship. So I've done two internships. The first one is when in my diploma time as a programmer, as a developer, and the second one as a marketing communication interns. So there are some similarities that where I can give the same tips on whether your job role is different or what. So first is that you just need to learn on the go because uh, if you make mistakes, you will be dealing with it. So you will scolded at things like that. But then you need to learn it by yourself. But it's not that you can't refer or ask for your managers and colleagues for opinions or guidance. You can, but you have to remember that the managers and the colleagues are not your teachers, so they can't spoon feed you all the time to help you to go through your internship. So you need to learn the goal. If you make mistakes, try to learn from it, what you can improve on it. Try to rely less on the manager and the colleagues. Try to do it yourself. If you cannot, it's fine, but at least if you make mistakes, don't try to make it more than 2 times. That's one of the tips that I got. And then second one is the stress. So basically, a lot of people, students will complain about the stress while doing their work, either like consciously or they would just like hide it for the stress. But you have to think that while you're intern, it's not just about doing your work. It's not about doing the work that your manager has given to you. During your internship, it's also about try to enjoy your internship as much possible. Try to take break in works, try to mingle around people, try to make connections. It's okay to take break. You don't have to force yourself to just do your work to meet your manager's expectations because those expectations can change with time by looking at how you do your work. So just don't stress about your work. Take a break, look around maybe, and you'll be fine throughout your internship. And also, like say, mingle with other people because internship is not just about doing your work. It's not just about programming. It's not just about like develop something all the time, 24 hours, 24/7. It's also about meeting with new people, trying to make connection with other people because at the end of the day, after you've done your internship, these people might still be in contact with you. So maybe after you graduate, they will ask about you. Maybe if you are interested to work with them again, you can get into the company without much hassle like that. So yeah, connections with people is really important too. And also the bad thing that I've said before about being bored because of doing repetitive things. My advice is just have fun while doing those things. It doesn't matter have fun while being bored or have fun while doing some tedious work. Just have fun because if you want to do a good job, you have to like be
Love your
happy.
job.
Yeah, if you Yeah, yeah. So you need to be happy. You need to have fun while doing a job to do a better job. If you are like stressed about your job, you're being unmotivated, how can you do a proper job? And how can you meet your managers or colleague expectations? So just have fun. Try to have fun. If you can't, try to talk with your manager about what you cannot do, what you can do. Most of the managers, they can understand your situation. You're just agreeing, trying to get into the corporate world. So you may have some culture shock, or maybe you're not get used to some things yet. So just talk to them on a free time if you have, and if the manager allow you to do so. So it is a highly recommended advice. And
It's
also,
okay
like I
to
said,
communicate with the manager lah on what's happening. But
yeah, it's okay. Because those managers are not like a dictator. Most of the managers are quite understanding enough to know about your problem. If you willing to share your problem with them, but if not, then if you just suck it up your problem, then how come people will know that you have a problem? It's just that, right? So like I say, it's okay to do mistakes, but also try not to do it more than 2 times, because if more than three, it's like you are not doing an honest work. You are being lazy about it. You have not put enough commitment in your work. So those things can like affect your marks or your connection with your manager or other colleagues. Next one is watch out for danger. So realistically speaking, things like this, like the harassment or bullying, still and could happen to you. There have been some cases, not in our faculty as far as I know, but there are some cases from other faculty where they've been harassed or been bullied, especially the girls. They've been harassed by the employee or the colleagues, the employees or the other manager. If you are if you met with this kind of problem, the first thing that you should do is talk to your supervisor and your coordinator, not your company supervisor. Try to talk with your company faculty supervisor and coordinator first. You can talk with your manager or your colleagues about it, but you have to remember these people have known each other for a long time. So receiving complaints from you, from intern, realistically, people will ignore it, some of it. So it's better that you talk about it to your supervisor, to fact supervisor or your coordinator first about it. This could ensure that the same thing could not happen to other interns in the future, and the coordinator can help you to give notice to the manager or your supervisor in the company about what you have encountered during your internship. So this harassment and bullying could happen. Most of the time, it's not, but there are still cases about it. So maybe if next time Procom could try to invite some female speakers to talk about this, maybe not from the victim itself, but the people that have dealt with these kind of things at least. So because this thing can really be a troublesome case sometimes. It's a real thing that could happen to you, especially female symptom. It's a real thing. And also,
the danger is out there, not just that if anyone unfortunately encounter these kind of problems, they should voice it out to someone, and the
Yeah.
someone preferably be our course internship course coordinator.
Yes. It's for me. It's really recommended to try to talk with your course coordinator and supervisor first, because there are times where even the HR can't do anything. For example, like if the one that been doing it was a managing director, or probably someone who's higher in the management. So even HR can do really much to help you. So it's better for you to do voice it out to your coordinator first, to your course supervisor first. It's better that way. And moving on from that, the level of difference. So you have to remember that the difference when you're doing your group work in your class and when you're interning is it has a huge gap. So like for example, yesterday's speaker Afri and Jasyong, they have the Agile and Scrum method to do the work. So you need to you have a timeline that you need to catch up. So things like that are quite different from what you have encountered during your classes. Doing your work with your classmates is really different doing your work with other colleagues. So if you didn't do your work, you will help the other colleague works. So you need to do your part so that the other can do their part after you've done it. So the level of difference between those are quite huge if you didn't really care about it. And lastly, is just adapt. Try to adapt with every challenges that you have encountered. So, for example, like during my first internship, I was the junior developer. At that time, my task was to create some modules and do some QA testing using the .NET framework. So at the time, the, during my diploma, I haven't learned about .NET at all. So in my internship times at the time, so I had to improvise, I had to adapt, I had to learn by myself. Like I said before this, you can try to ask your colleagues, your managers, but don't rely on them too much because they are not your teachers. And also, if you are having difficulties while managing your time, just do it slowly. You don't have to like do it on the spot, do it rushly. Try to manage your time slowly from like, for example, in the first few weeks, try to know their like the speed of work. Try to get used to it, and then after that several weeks, try to catch up with them, and then after that you will be able to go toe to toe with them. You can compete with them, not compete. You can catch up together with them, so you can work together with the same pace with them, so that you won't get left behind. Mm, I think that's all for me that I can
Uh,
share
it,
to you.
it
It's
was
those things that talk about it apply on whatever job scope that you are eyeing for, maybe the software development or maybe the graphic design is applicable for those job scopes too. So it's the same thing actually. If you are weak in programming, just try to do more exercise. Try to do your own personal projects. It's okay to lack in something, but it's not okay if you are not trying to do something about it. like what Jiazong had told yesterday, if you watch yesterday's session.
There's two questions from our viewers. One of it is regarding your internship period at Schlumberger. He asked about what software do you regularly use during your internship in all those media creation content?
For the media creation. So in Slumj, I think we use the same tools like any other media company. We use Adobe products like the Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Premiere Pro, and Adobe After Effects. I think most of the company use the same tools or products for their content creation or production.
I see. Mainly it's all about Adobe suites lah. Everything inside suite.
Yeah, in the Adobe Suite.
The second question is regarding, are you involved in any high graphic video creation?
Graphic. As far as what I have done in video graphic, uh, we look back in the events that I've participated or that I've involved. So all these events, except for the HSC for youth and the CEO visit and the park design, I've done some video production for the opening and also for the product launch for each of these events. So for example, like for the Slumj Hari Open House, for the Slumj Hari Open House, since I was new at the time, just on board it, so I didn't do much. I just helped them with what they have done, things like uh, helping with the clients, helping with the activities. Okay. But aside from that, the Slumberjay Technology Day, the APGC 2019, Brunei Opening Ceremony, in those events, I've done some video production as either as a product launch or opening ceremony video to showcase it to the clients or to the other MDs, other managers, like that. And also for the some technology Days Philippines, I need to compile some video for them to show during their opening ceremony. And also there are some point where I need to do some VR. Was it VR or yeah, it's AR video
Oh,
during
augmented
an
reality video where
yeah,
you can use your
yes.
camera and look as if
Yep.
it's real.
Yeah, but the idea was later then scrapped because the contractor can provide the like the hardware for the AR itself. So we
Um,
just go with the traditional video production like that.
as you mentioned, you have interned at two different companies, right? Can I
Yeah.
assume that your first company is a startup?
Mm, yeah, I think so. It's
Uh,
a
if if the first company is a startup and the second one is an MNC, so can you roughly compare the work culture between MNC and a startup? What are the differences, like the different in culture,
yeah.
workload?
Obviously, the number one difference would be the working environment because working in an MNC company where there are many other foreign people, other people from other countries, the difference is it's quite noticeable. You get to, if you observe enough, the working environment in an MNC company they're not like the local. They have the, what to
A
say,
more structured,
like I they are the most structured. But if I want to be frank, it's like their
the
mindset
mindset.
during, yeah, when they are working. So like for people in the MNC company, their mindset during their work is like we are really professional. They don't really like waste their time much. They don't really take a break like all the time, or maybe, yeah, I think that the mindset is different to me.
They are more
If I want
disciplined
to,
and work oriented.
yeah, yeah.
How about in
And
startups?
for me, in that kind of working condition, working environment, it is acceptable. But if you know, like, yeah, if you observe all these local startups or the local people, you will know that they are not on par. Not really on. Not that I want to say that they are not on par. Just that they are some level below on how the MNC people work. But it still depends on what kind of company. Like the Slum J, uh, like like Slum J working environment is like not like any local or the Japanese company, for example, where the the norm in a Japanese company might be like you have to
Be
go
on
back after
time.
your boss have gone back. You need to come on time. But in Slovakia, the working hours quite flexible. The people are quite open-minded. So like, by flexible, that I mean you can come work like around 9 or 10, and still can go back early like 6, 5, 7. Still depends. But if you have work, then you need to stay late. If you don't have, then maybe you can go back early. Things like that. And for like they are open-minded, they are open-minded. They will easily understand others people uh, restrictions or other people problems and other people's culture. You will see that in MNC company there are many kind of people from different religions or with different belief, with
And different
different
countries.
cultures. Yes, just like that. Each one of them understanding enough about other people's belief, religions, things like that. So you don't have to worry. You won't get like a skeptical look. You won't be like uh, looked down upon, things like that. They are seem like you. They're human. They are just working to survive or
They
just,
look at you as a colleague instead of a hierarchy lah, in
yeah,
MNC.
like that. Because
How about back in startup?
the hierarchy is there.
The hierarchy is there.
Uh, the hierarchy is there, yes, but it's kind of forced also, enforced, you know. So it's
Mhm.
like you need to respect your bosses. You can't mm, like treat them like a colleague, like a fellow colleagues like that. At least that's is what is happening at the company that I've interned. The others company might be different on how they treat their fellow colleagues, on how they treat the manager or the bosses. That still depends on that company itself, on what kind of working culture that they are trying to enforce to the
It
employees.
varies from companies to companies lah.
Yeah.
Looking at the time, we have reached at the end of our session with Khairul. Khairul, do you have any last word for the viewers out there, the juniors that are going for internship, especially the multimedia students?
Okay, as for the multimedia students, it's okay if you want to find other job scopes other than programming. It's actually fine because even in my class, my batch, some of my classmates have a like different job scope from programming where they're doing admin stuff. They just key in stuff into Excel spreadsheets, and also they're doing some like clerk works, things like that. It's okay if you guys want to try to apply for that kind of position, and but you also need to have approval from your coordinator and your supervisor. But most of the time, at least for my batch, it's okay. So you don't have to worry about the programming stuff much if you're really weak in programming. But at least try to have some knowledge about the programming. Try to know your stuff a bit. And for the other courses, I don't really sure either you can try to apply for job scope unlike the programming thing, maybe like the graphic design or the UX, things like that. At least some from networking that I know have that kind of job scope where they are required to only design on things. They only need to do some UI UX thing and less on programming. It's it's okay and still depends on your supervisor and coordinator too. So it's fine. It's not like that programming is the center of all the things. Programming requires other things too, and also graphic designs are quite as important too. So they have like feel like I need to get a programming job scope. I need to have like, a developer job scope. If you if your coordinator and your supervisor are fine with it, you can try to look for other job scope too. Still it depends on your what are you capable of. But at least since you are your IT student, at least try to have some knowledge on the programming itself. Some job scope requires uh, an app development, for example, there are several tools out there that use a low code tools to develop apps or to develop software. Those things exist. So, but it depends on the availability of those company. Either they want a full-fledged programmer or just someone who have at least a bit of knowledge in programming, like in HTML, programming HTML. In web development, at least there you can create your own website, things like that. So it's actually okay. You don't really need to think that programming is an obligation. Is like the highest ranking in a job scope that you need to get into. It's fine. Like me, I can get into the graphic design and multimedia. Some people in my batch get into the admin stuff where they just key in some stuff, but also uh, get the chance to do a bit more in technical stuff or the app development stuff. Like that.
Thank you, Carol, for the last word. Before we actually end the session, could we take a picture, Aiman? Can we have a picture together? Aiman, tell us when you are ready to take a screenshot of the YouTube together. Thank you, Iman. Thank you, Kharul, for coming for today's session and a very great insight into the company that you have interned at, an MNC, Slumberjay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you all.
Hello, Huaiyu.
Hello.
Our next speaker today is our infamous Huaiyu from the App Club, a very active tech event organizer and a very passionate tech student as well. Welcome, Huaiyi. We are happy to have you here today to talk about your experience during your internship at Imagine, an emerging technology company specialized in ML and artificial intelligence. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I will talk about the company in a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Huaiyi, you may have the virtual floor.
Okay. Please put on my slide in the stream. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So my name is Huaiyu. I'm a artificial intelligence major, graduating in 2021. Means next year January I'm gonna off UN soon. So yeah, I work at Imagine as the official title is data scientist intern. And so yeah, I just put a link here that this slide will be available on this link, huayucode.com/internships. So you can check it out afterwards. Yeah. And now that this opinion can be biased because it's purely from me. And for those joining the stream, please ask for opinions for more and more seniors. The more the better. And after you hear a lot of opinions, you will get an ability to justify what is actually working and what's. So I will break things into 6 points mainly. The first is talking about what my company, the company I work with, do, and what I work as data ML interns. And before I joined the company, before I joined my first internship, what kind of preparation I've done, what kind of process I went through, and then during the 6 months or 7 months in the internships, roughly what kind of things happened to me, and then I try to cover a little bit on the comparison of data engineer, data scientists, or ML engineers, because I think this is kind of the most uh, commonly asked questions for any juniors that I met to ask me about AI kind of thing. And the last part will be what I wish to know part there. What? Yeah. So imagine, um, just like I mentioned, it is a startup, but actually it has been around the market for 20 years already. And they started as the stock photo agency. They sell stock content like the photos, vectors, video, music. And then from that company, we call it 123RF. Slowly they grow into more and more other products and also acquire some other companies as well. So the second main product we have is Pixlr. It's an online free photo editor based on browser. Yeah. And then the third thing is the designs.ai. It's a suite of design tools. So during my 6 months of internship there, my main focus is actually working on the product that maybe some days will be on live in the designs.ai website. And then the last part is the Imagine brand. This thing actually started um, at the almost at the end of my internships where they put out a website called imaginebrand.com, and it shows all the solutions that our company has built, and we actually kind of open out to build these solutions to other businesses as well. And these are the 4 projects that I have done as the intern over there. The first mini project is the font recommendations model, and then the text to color, and then text summarization, and the last one is the auto copywriting. Auto copywriting is a text generation thing. It means that when you give the machine some kind of short input, you will try to generate those advertisement tagline or social media copywriting or website copywriting, so that the marketers and copywriter that can use the words. And then summarizer is we have a product called Video Maker, and this summarizer is basically used for that video maker, because that video maker is that the user can put in a long document of text, and then the product will convert the text into a video. So my part, the text summarizer, works to summarize the text before actually converting to a video, because in the video you cannot put a very long sentence inside the video. It need to be short and sweet enough. Then the text to color. Text to color actually has a lot of implementations, but I actually haven't quite figured out how to use it yet, because this is one of the project I proposed that we can actually try to build this, and somehow we have a small project going on there. And my first project is font recommendations. It's basically compare all the fonts by their contrasticity, their contrast, like how similar the font A to the font B and the other 2000s fonts in Google Fonts. And we try to recommend what kind of fonts suit the best to the other fonts. Yeah, and actually our four product, only the first one, font recommendations, thing is live on the website. The other is just like a POC, a proof of concept. It's still on the machines, but not actually go to public yet. And what did I do as a data or ML intern? Actually, is that I spend most of the time actually reading out the papers and go to Google and find okay, let's say this one. I need to build a text to color thing, so I need to Google out the text to color, and then like maybe open out the top 50 written results and then look at it one by one to see what kind of ideas I can learn from them. And then if I'm lucky, I will find a GitHub report that actually come with codes, or even better, come with data set and model that I can just clone it out and then try to see how can I work to improve it, instead of starting everything from scratch, which is very painful. And usually three things I do are transfer learning, or I just use the pre-trained model before I actually spend more time to work on the better model, or sometimes I will train my own models. And then the next part of this is to build some proof of concept application called POC. It's like a very small applications that works good enough that I can show my work to the other stakeholder or the other colleagues in the team, so that they can work together to think about what is actually working, what is actually not, and give me ideas on how to improve on the product. And then eventually, for example, the font recommender. For that one, I need to build an API that actually serves to and work closely with the development team to connect API to the front end and then make it live. And these are a list of kind of tools I use during my internships. Mainly, my main language is Python at 6 months, and mainly all my works usually on Super Notebook. Sometimes it's on Connect, it's also based on Jupyter. Sometimes, if I were to build a demo applications or build an API, I will use my other IDE like VS Code and something else. And then the most frequently used to Python library for sure is pandas and NumPy, basically to modify the data and clean and to visualize the data. And the model I use is mainly CNN, RN, and GAN. Like for example, on the font project, I use CNN to extract the features and then to compare the similarity. And then for text to color, I use GAN to have a data set of with text and a descriptions of the text, a description of the color and the color code in a pair, and then have a lot of this kind of data, and then use GAN to train it so that it will generate color when I input some sort of text to the model. And yeah, so framework, I didn't tie to one particular framework because usually I say I Google a lot, trying to find those GitHub report that actually could help me. If the code is based in PyTorch, I will use PyTorch. If the code is based in TensorFlow, I will try to use TensorFlow. And that Flask is the framework that I usually use to build the applications on the API. I use this just because that I didn't know any framework that could build this in Python yet. And that time I asked my supervisor, hey, what kind of framework should I use? So he recommends me to use this. And then the Docker and AWS, he said, after I build applications on the API, I need to containerize it and then so that it works in a container using Docker and then host in the AWS. Usually I will use and just host in EC2 and so that I can share it around. And also when the project grows too big that the data cannot fit in the memory of my local machines, definitely I need to use the cloud services. Yeah, so sometimes I also work at other things like other extra thing, not actually something to be done by the data intern. Is that I also joined the UX focus course in the company because as I said just now, the designs.ai is very very new. I think we just launched our first product in last year November, and then after that we are also working on the art. They were also working on the other product. So I joined a group of people, includes the designer and the marketers and a salesperson. And 4 or 5 of us actually sit around the table to see what kind of things we can improve the product from different kind of perspective, from a programmer perspective and from a non-programmer perspective. And I also involved in some presentations because like for the core project that I mentioned just now is almost like done by myself with some supervisions for my head of data. So sometimes I will ask his advice on how to improve on it, and then sometimes I will like represent him to like present to the sales team or marketing team too. So because I kind of have better idea on some kind of project, and then because as I said, the product is brand new, so and this is also like the one of my most favorite part of my entire internships is that I get to choose what kind of project I want to build. So by saying that, it means that before I build a project, sometimes that I sometimes also involved in looking around the market and see what kind of products that I can actually build to complement or to improve the other product in our suite of design tools. So for example, the text to color thing, and also like other research that as well, but some of them we didn't actually spend time to work on it. We just like think of this and then skip. Yeah, so just other part was about the company I work with, and also a summary of what kind of project or what kind of things I've been doing during my 6 months internships. And the second part is to tell a little bit of stories that what happens before I join my first internships, and it's split into 3 sections. So the first part is looking around LinkedIn to see what kind of company is hiring, or basically, yeah, to look what kind of companies hiring. And Glassdoor is a place that I use to when I'm interested in some company, I will look out their Glassdoor profile and see if there are some comments by the past employers or current employers on the companies to see that if the company is actually a good company that I would want to spend my time on it. And then also I will check out what was the startup where it lists out all the jobs, lists out a lot of companies where you can just look on it. And the most useful part for me is actually LinkedIn, where besides I use it to search for the company. Sometimes when I'm interested in a certain company, I can like just search on it and try to find um, somebody inside the company and talk with them to know about their working environment. Because it's very easy. You can just like, let's say you want to join the um, you want to join as a developer in company A. You can just search developer company A, and it will return some sort of result. You can just check and try to add to their add them as your connections and talk to them. And okay, this is also a very important question to ask us as students as well. Is that before we choose to apply to what kind of company, there are some kind of metrics that we can try to evaluate ourselves. So originally, this table came from this article written by Desmond. We all know that. And then so this is some features that you can look for before you apply to a company. Is that the first very important thing is there any mentors or not? Because if there's no mentor, means that you just join in and you're all by your own. And internship is very important because mentorship is very important. Internship is because we are very new. If there isn't one mentor to guide us, we will easily get lost and spend uh, 6 months or 7 months on nothing very useful. And second is salary. For sure, there need to be some salary given. So either it's low or high, so you can like just measure yourself from 0 to 10. And if the company already has an engineering team, if there's no engineering team yet, don't join the company because it means that when you join in, you're gonna be the most senior person in the team. And uh, getting an intern as the most senior person in the team is not a good sign for any company. So yeah, so to believe in the company visions or is related to something you want to grow. Yeah, so this 2 point is very important for me personally. Is that also one of the reasons why I chose to join Imagine is that okay? So my positions is about data science, and I know that I can work on some data science project or machine learning project. This is the area that I want to go in. And visions, not exactly believe in the visions, but I'm interested in the product. Is that uh, they, they are interested in building those design tools to help designers to make design easier, smarter, faster. And I I, I see myself as a half designer and half engineer, so I like to design things as well. So this is some kind of tools. If this is the project that I work with, the project that I built during my internship is something that I would like to spend time on to build it uh, with or without working with the company. So yeah, if I join the company and work on this project, means that I get paid while doing this project. Yeah, so you can check out the other thing. If you want to get this table, you can just go to this link and just clone it and calculate yourself. Yeah, and also before uh, I joined my first internships. Besides finding companies that I want to join, I need to improve improve on myself and my profile so that I will look attractive to be hired by a company. So very important part is LinkedIn. As I said just now, I LinkedIn is my mentor find companies, so I need to brush out my LinkedIn profile as well, and then so build a personal website of my own. So yeah, and sure GitHub either yeah. So try to build some project and uh, deploy to GitHub, and I think and employer will be interested to check out your code, check out your project, or just simply look at your activity metrics of the GitHub. If it is all green or it is just blank. If it's just blank, red means that this person doesn't actually code a lot. So it's also good to prepare a good resume. So this, I wanted to show my resume, but I put in a long link. I put a long link. Oh yeah. Okay, so like this is the resume that I built to apply for my internship. It's not very great, but it's something that I spend time on. So I write this, my name, my contact, my educations, my skills. And at that time I don't have a lot of technical project that I can show on my portfolio. And I just put on those project experience to show that I'm proactive in these kind of areas, and some hackathon projects. Yeah, even though some of them are actually just a mock-up, I put as well. Yeah, to show that I'm active in joining those events. Yeah, so you can see that this one and this one is a wireframe, and I won one hackathons. Yeah, and joined some Star Weekend as well.
Why,
this
do you
basically
mind enlarging it a bit?
Okay, not sure if the text is not important. Yeah, I just want to like show roughly the layout. Okay, so this is also the guide. I also include a guide, resume guide written by Alia. She just posted it, published it, I think 9 a.m. this morning. So you can check out this link, bit.ly/appcloud-resume-guide. So it includes a lot of very specific criteria of a good resume. Yeah, I know that just now the resume that I show to you is not 100% fits in the guide, because I this was a resume that I built like 1 year ago, so it's not updated yet. And I learned a lot during this year as well. Yeah, so my LinkedIn profile, my personal website, my GitHub metrics, you can see like during MCO, I started code more. You can see some green stuff over here. Yeah. So I saw in the YouTube comment there's one people ask about what do I use to build my website. I see it's cost for domain and hosting. Yeah, so for my website I bought a domain, .com domain. If I'm not mistaken, it costs 8 to 9 USD one. I bought it from Internship. And this website I host on Netlify, so it's free. Yeah, so before I joined, even before I applied for a company, I actually felt in some sort of dilemma and stressful environment where I feel like I don't have enough skills to even apply for one. So I actually waited for a very, very long time after I started my first application of my internships. So yeah, during that time, I spent a lot of time on brushing out my skills on algorithm skills on Hackeret, and then take some course on Udemy and Udacity, Coursera, this kind of thing. And um, these are two courses if you are AI students or you're interested in really learning about it. These are two courses that I personally recommend, and my friend as well, Fast.ai and DeepLearning.ai. Both of them are free. And yeah, before I joined, actually I applied to very few companies only. Is that I applied to Grab, and I got 3 interview from them. Both three of them are online, and then I think I screwed out the interview. And this is also a reason why I feel so stressful after filming my first interview. And then I waited for a very long time after I applied for the second one. And one thing to talk about my interview in Imagine is that I get the actually how I get invited for interview is that one day I wrote on my LinkedIn, I wrote a post that, hey, I'm interested in finding a data related internships. Is there any company that you guys can recommend, or is there any course that you can recommend me to take so that I can prepare enough for it? And then after that, my employer, also my head of data, uh, he reached out to me on LinkedIn and then asked, hey, are you interested? Send me your resume or something. And then after a few days or week, so I'm then invited for a on-site interview. So the on-site interview for the Grab, I won't share it here because yesterday Jia Zhang has shared about this a lot, and I think it's a very good sharing as well in terms of the process of interview. And then for mine is that I sure if I go for on site, and since they are just hiring an intern in full time, so the process will be much more simpler compared to a full timer. As full timer, there are a few steps to go, and then for intern, usually there will be just one on site, basically to talk to you in person and see what kind of attitude you're holding, what kind of personality you have, and try to ask about some, because in the resume I show some sort of project I've been doing, and some sort of product I've been building. So during the internship, during the interview, basically they ask about this thing, like want me want us to tell more story about the project. So from there, from there they will know more about us, and then um, during the interview we also give a chance for the interns, like in a interviewee like me, to understand more about the company, to know that what kind of product they have, and know more in details that what sort of project potentially I will be working on if I successfully join the company. So during the work, I break into two sections. First one is the people part. People part, we have like about 60 plus engineers. So engineers here includes all the web developer, mobile developer, and also QA, DevOps, this kind of thing, all people. And in the data team, actually, we have about 10 people, where 7 is full-timer, and then 2 is part-time contractor, and 3 are interns. Yeah, so uh, during my time is that these 2 part-time contractor and 3 interns are all from UM. So we are like UM conquering the half of the office of the data team. And the main part of the data team, the main works that the data team is working on is the data engineer was building the data pipeline and stream it and prepare the data for the other data scientists to use it. And then the data scientists will work on visualization of using machine learning models to uh, to try to get some business insight from the data, and then present to the other team, like sales team, marketing teams, or our boss, so that will help them to make those data-driven business decisions. And also the other data scientists or machine learning engineers, we are working on those AI solutions to improve the product. So my work is just this part. I didn't do any. I didn't do any of this stuff. Yeah. So the general workflow of data team is that data engineer will prepare data. If the data needed from the data team is actually something from databases, let's say the user activity or the images, because we have a lot of like millions of stock images. If the data is needed from that, and they also build those pipelines to collect and serve data. Yeah. And then data scientists or the ML engineers, they are the person who build the ML models to build the ML models, and then we will work on the POC applications to demo the stakeholders to try it, to make sure that this is something you want to build. And this part usually will iterate a lot. After POC, try it, repeat, POC, try it, repeat. And actually, for one of the projects that my colleague worked on, the image aesthetic model, actually spent like, I think almost throughout my entire internship is still in the loop. Is that it's not still not good enough, so it's keep repeating everything. And then after it's done, it's satisfying. So the other engineer will try to will work together with, to deploy the application and ship it to our users. And then it's live. And then yeah, I kind of like reached almost the end of my session already. So this part will be talking about the data engineers, data scientists, and data engineers. I'm not an expert in this field. I just try to explain in the way that how I understand things. Yeah, so feel free to tell me that if I understand it wrongly. So yeah, so I think this post actually explained it quite well, although it is a post from data camp from 3 years ago, 2017, and I believe a lot of things has been changed, and it's moving very fast for the data field. But generally, it's still a good guide for starters. So data engineers is those mainly dealing with the architectures of the databases, so that they develop and construct and architect those data pipeline, databases, data lake, data, a lot of terms there. I don't know all of them. Yeah. And then data scientists is those after they take the data, they clean it, they massage it, and then organize it and try to figure out what kind of insight they can take from the data, and what kind of analysis or what kind of insights they can extract from data. And usually, the harder part is this part. They spend most of the time on cleaning, massage, and try to think about what kind of thing they can use. And machine learning models are actually just a small part of it. If you are talking about those more on business intelligence thing, because to build a model that actually works well for needs a lot of very specific domain knowledge. Let's say our the other data scientists were working on our main product, the 120 RF, and we are in the stock agency field. So the data scientist himself also need to understand when do the users usually purchase the thing, and what kind of background they usually the users usually are, so that they can also this kind of domain knowledge will be very useful for them to better figure out what can they do with the data, so that it can solve the business need. And different kind of responsibilities. Yeah, this is more description in detail. You can definitely check out this link over here to read the entire post. So in general, this is more on the architecture of databases and like those data encapsulations and build the data set, and like put all things together on the data, so that it can help the other part of the data team, which is mostly the data scientists, to get useful business insight. So these are the data scientists. Is a person who do like find patterns in the data and build machine learning models and tell stories. And this part is quite important as well, because if the stakeholders or boss or the other team that don't understand the insights that you try to present to, your entire work for maybe over the few weeks will be useless, because you can't present your idea well, and they don't understand, so it means that it's useless. They won't be impressed. Yeah, so this is also why data visualizations is kind of it's also a very important part in data science. And so these are like some chart to show, and data scientists like to show charts as well. Yeah. So as I mentioned that I get this diagram from this website called DataCamp. It's actually a course, something like Coursera, Udemy, but it's very focused on data. And actually, we are very lucky that this week they are giving it out free for 1 week. So we have like 5 more days to take the course for all premium access as well. So I want to show you something in the slide instead. Because just I try to explain the difference between data scientists, data engineers, and I think it's a better way if you can go to this career track. You just pick a role that you are interested, let's say data engineer. And then you can see like what kind of skills that they're teaching here. And then you can take the course if you want. If you don't, you can just read through it and roughly know that what kind of skills are useful. Yeah. Yeah, so Spark is one thing very useful for data science, data engineer. So yeah, you can look out on the other career path as well, like machine learning scientist, or yeah, let's say this one. Okay, so on this one you can see that this is more focused on the machine learning models. So supervised, unsupervised, trees, XGBoost, time series, feature engineering, model validation. This kind of topic that very useful. These skills are very useful for machine learning scientists. So just like in earlier part I mentioned that it would be useful if we try to build some projects and include in our portfolio or the resume or something. If you have no project ideas, you can actually check out these sections and just pick one and work on it. Let's say, uh, let's say, yeah, let me choose one. Yeah, maybe you have some audio data and you want to classify the stock. Right? You can just take this project and then it will be some small tasks. It will break the entire project into smaller tasks. You can just follow it and complete it to make it more impressive for the employer. That when you put in the portfolio, you can try to not follow the task exactly like it shows. You can just add on other things or change the other thing, change the other way, and I believe in the process. In the process, you will learn a lot by just doing the thing instead of just following some video course. Yeah, so enough talking about it, okay? Yeah, so this is the last slide. So yeah, what I wish to know prior by day one, or summary of what kind of lessons that I learned during my internship or before, after my internships, is that everything will be all right. It's more important that build some side projects instead of just putting your head inside your screen and try to learn as many as possible on all the video lectures. Because I actually felt in this loop is when before I applied for my first interview, apply for my first company, I spent a lot of time in working on video courses. And during the internship, at the beginning of my internship, I also purchased 2 NLP courses on Udemy. I just do the 30% of the courses of the first courses, and then I put it aside. And I feel that I actually learn faster and learn more by just doing the thing. And the course actually just work well as an introduction of what kind of knowledge you need to have to finish the product, to start a project. And then when you starting a project, you will see what kind of thing is lacking, and then you will just move it out or go for it to find out the knowledge. Yeah. And second is don't spend 100% of your time, my time with the screen. Is that I just do it like I think half. Is that it is important to spend time to build relationships with your colleagues, because it is after you leave your internships, you can't bring out all the project that you do. You can bring out the knowledge, but the more valuable thing is actually your relationship with the uh, other colleagues. Let's say you make friends with 10, 10 colleagues. 10 colleagues, maybe this in the next 3 years, they might be still staying in the company, but after that, they might leave the company and go to other companies. Let's say all these 10 engineers go to 10 different companies. And then by the time 3 years later, maybe then that time you will have friends that are working in, you have friends from 10 different companies. So this is a network of relationship you can build. And it's very also useful that after you connect those relationships, you will learn a lot by just listening to their experience sharing. There are a lot of things to be learned that you can't learn from your textbook or courses. And embrace those small talks inventory. Don't eat alone when you are taking lunch. Is that try to eat lunch with different kind of people every day so that you will make more friends in the office in the inventory. And join the office game and dinner. I join dinner not very frequent, but sometimes I join if I stay out in the office quite late, and I will join the gang of the developers in the other part of the office. Those web developers, mobile developers. Some are tech leads, some are managers. Will just join dinner, and sometimes they drive to other places to have dinner. And the chat gonna be very interesting. You'll hear a lot of things that they won't mention during work. And join the office game. This is a part that I didn't join at all. I kind of regret because my office has a PS4 and Nintendo Switch, but I didn't play it at all. Yeah, I kind of regret. And yeah, the last part is don't limit your career prospect too early. This is for those AI major juniors, is that because a lot of AI juniors, I mean like those first or second year, they might think that okay, I'm studying AI major, I must be taking AI as my career. I must be becoming a data scientist or a AI engineer or machine engineer. But it's not necessary. You can like just become a full stack programmer. It works well as well. Even for those software engineering students, it's okay if you are interested in AI or machine learning or deep learning, and then you can like have the basic a strong foundation of of developing developing applications, and then you move on to learn those machine learning things and take machine learning as a field where it will improve your applications and it will complement your skills of developing applications. Yeah. So yeah, try everything and discover what you want from work. Is that when you're doing a project, you will figure out what you like, what you don't like. So it's not good to limit yourself too early. And yeah, I think that's all. Let me look at a comment if there's not any questions. Yeah, thanks for the reply from John Wolf. Yeah, I agree with your point is that for the resume building, if you are in the tech field, you are a programmer, you are a developer, it's okay if you don't include any designs or moderate designs. Like for mine, is that just black and white, and play something with the font size and the full. That's always my design and the layout. If you are applying for creative work like designers or graphic designers or something, then it's very important to show your designing skills in your resume itself. Yeah, how good must your portfolio be if you want to apply for data science intern? How many projects? For myself, when I apply for my first internships, I actually don't have a lot of project in my head. Yeah, it's okay if not having any, you can still apply and just go to the interview and tell about it. But it will be great if you have tried to build some projects beforehand. And by building project, is also show to your potential employers that you are interested in this field, interested in actually building the applications or building models, not that you are taking this internship as just one of the requirements for you to graduate from the university. You need to show that you are really interested in the field, because for somebody you are interested in the field, that actually they are happy and they will love to spend time on building projects. Yeah, but even though I say I recommend you to spend time on building project, don't stop yourself if you don't stop yourself to start applying for jobs if you don't have any project yet. And then the next questions, I do receive questions from company asking for my own ML and API models. I don't quite understand these questions.
Maybe the person asking this question is applying to ML engineering intern, and the company wants him to prove that he did something previously regarding to that particular job that he's applying to, his portfolio to be exactly. And he feels that this one is something too deep into a specialized field for him. And do you have any advice for him?
Okay, if by the time the company asks you, you don't have any, you can just honestly tell them, I don't have any models or API built by myself to show that can show to you at the moment. You're authentic about this thing, and then you can say that you can, because if there's a company asking you these questions, it means that this is kind of important. It shows that it's important to have this project in hand. So I think you should definitely start to build some ML models or building some API. But I don't think it's too deep. I don't think it's too deep because eventually during the internships, you will be working on these works as well. And this is just the thing that will happen in maybe 2 months or 3 months, and you will be already doing the things. So it's actually not too deep. I thought it was very deep as well, but actually once started, you will figure out the ways of doing more and more. Yep.
And there's another question from me personally. Like, I heard some of the intern students after their internship period, they go on to do part-time internship, part-time job lah with that internship company he has previously interned at. So, what are the possible ways of increasing their chances of being able to employ as a part-time or in the future a permanent worker of that particular company?
I think it's how this is a similar questions to like, what if I want what should I do if I want to ask for a pay raise or ask for promotions in the same company? Let's say you are full time. So first, you need to show that you are quality, you have quality development skills. It means that when you are asked to do do your work, you should definitely do what you promise, and even over deliver what you promise. Instead, you ask for 10 things, you can like achieve more. Be an over achiever in the team, and then if you are interested in doing part time, you need to communicate with uh, your superior in the team, in the maybe your manager or your tech lead or someone. Just tell them that after my internship, I'm interested in doing part time. Just tell them this is, if they have plans to uh, if they need some people in some work, and they see you, they're actually satisfied with your work, they are very happy to tell you what. I believe so, because uh, it will take them more effort to actually look for a new candidates and go through the entire interview process and hire them. Yeah.
Because they
But
know
if
intern student beforehand, they have trained them. That's why the possibility of getting
yeah,
absorbed, depending on your attitude as well.
yeah, and they're already familiar with you. They don't need to like get a stranger in the office again. And I think it's also good to have this conversation with the manager, that show that you are interested in continue your career in the company or what. And from conversation, you will get some clue from how they answer you or how they talk to you, that um, do they actually think that you work well in the team, like in the past few months, or from their face emotion, you can see that they actually didn't enjoy working with you very well, so that uh, they might sort of sign that they actually are waiting for you to go to leave off, to quit our internship as soon as possible. Yeah. So the thing is that you just need to do the work well, and then communicate with your tech lead or manager. Yeah.
That's a very good explanation. Another question. I'm currently uh, having an account in Kaggle, and I do some Kaggle games sometimes, occasionally. I've submitted a few submissions. Um, if I include it in my CV, my Kaggle account, will it increase my chances of getting a data-related internship?
Yeah, definitely. But because this shows that you are interested in building projects or what. But keep keep in mind that the projects that in Kaggle is like the it's just a set an expectation for you, is that the project you do in Kaggle is gonna be very different from the project in reality. It's because that the data in Kaggle is all clean, and you just use it and you just focus on the machine learning models. But uh, in real life, in workplace, the dataset preparations part gonna take you a lot of time. Actually, showing your Kaggle account and doing this, showing your profile there and showing your projects there is very helpful to boost out your ranking in their system. And actually, my boss, my my boss also asked me to host some Kaggle meetup thing. Like before this, they asked me to host some Kaggle meetup thing, just to attract people who like to do Kaggle competitions, so that we can hire them. Yeah,
We are looking forward to you hosting a Kaggle event.
yeah, we'll see. Yeah,
And due
Say
to the sorry,
yeah, yeah. Continue.
due to the current COVID situation, most of the students, they are facing some of the difficulties in looking for their internship. So, do you have any advice you might want to offer them in terms of the expectation towards the salary and the kind of companies they might get?
Um, uh, like um, right. Recently, me and some other friends are actually working on because we are aware that this problem exists, so we are working on making a list of companies that actually are interested to hire students at the moment, hire students as interns at the moment. And I think I can show here. So yeah, so we made these applications to list out the companies that are in they are interested in hiring interns at the moment, and you can check it out. And we are working on the other parts is that mm, we want to make sure the entire applications process is good, so that um, the students that actually apply through our this platform will have an happy internships process, and make sure they are growing throughout the internship. So I try to do my I'm trying to do my best to help in this part. You can check out this link,
That's a very good
internship.app.com.
initiative.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we scan the QR code and we'll be able to get into the website.
yeah. So yeah. Although you see the point that where maybe you have seen a lot of news announce that a lot of companies are actually laying off their employees because of uh, COVID, and they don't have a lot of budgets, and they need to cut costs. But actually, a lot of companies they are still willing to hire interns. You just need to look for them harder. It's because that if a company they want to cut costs and maybe fire some employers, they're gonna be firing those have higher um, salary, or cut the pay, or do some pay cut on the higher those employees holding higher salary. Because like for an intern, it just costs you one K per month or 1.5K a month, and for those other people, it's like 8K per month or 10K per month. Yeah, I think that there's still a high chance for you to get internships at this time.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
We shall visit the website and check out. I heard some
yeah.
of the jobs are highly paid even due to this kind of COVID situation.
Yeah.
Like, how do you actually get those companies that are so great to actually join and collaborate in this application to assist students in
Um.
getting internship?
Sorry. What was your last sentence?
How did you actually get the companies uh, to be collected in a platform for students to get internship? What
Um.
motivates you in doing so?
These are two separate questions, right? One is like how do I get those company, and what
Yeah,
second part is why this motivates me. Okay, so the first part
yeah,
is that this thing we are doing this by some like me and some graduates or alumni, and also some final year people, final students like me, is that all of us have kind of collected mm, some network in throughout our uh, okay, let's put it this way, is that we try to just post it up on social media, on LinkedIn, this kind of thing, and we have made some network throughout our university life, and some of them is like throughout their career, is that we just post it up, and then it takes a lot of friends to share it out, and share to other university, and share to some other Facebook groups, and um, some friends taking another more step is that they tag the friends in the comment, and all this is like um, all this helps to collect more and more companies. I think for last time I checked, there are 60 something 60 near to 70 companies in the list. And how we do is actually we are just a person who created a Google spreadsheet and we didn't do much, and a Google form, and then we just share it out. And it takes a lot of friends to spend effort and share it out. Yeah. And
This
then a
proves
second,
the importance of doing networking, right? The communication
yeah,
is important.
yeah. And also like I appreciate a lot of friends to sharing it across their network as well. And yeah, because yeah, it's nothing. So the second question is about why it motivates me is that this is something I wish I have 2 years 1 year back, 2 years back. So when there's a chance for me to actually contribute to building this thing, why not I will spend time to build this thing. Actually, like this is just the very beginning part of uh, this platform. We can have a lot of things coming soon and soon.
Do you mind giving us a glimpse of what are the plannings you have for this platform in order to assist students more?
At the moment, what we are working on is that we try because one the one because for one part that I didn't cover just now is that the resume part. Uh, okay, this part is that when a students they send their applications via email or through some platform to a company, usually a lot of them apply but not getting any response or what. This one of the reason is because they didn't send it. Um, maybe in the email they didn't mention the things that the companies actually care, and the students don't know what the companies actually want to see from the students. So we are doing it as like a bridge that um, when students apply through our platform, and we try to apply those best practice that we collect those knowledge from those our friends as senior engineers and C-level kind of executives in company, and we try to apply this best practice in the application process so that the students will get higher chance to get a reply from the company and get a job there. And this is just a start, as I say, is that the more important part is actually getting those feedback from the company and the students throughout the entire internship to see like how they grow and how they grow in the internships. And I think this is something we are very interested to study as well. Because I personally feel that I learned a lot throughout the internships. So I'm also interested to know what 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 happened to others people internship as well. Because like let's say in MSKDM we have those logbook, but actually the logbook does work very well because the like we need to write down our thing every day, but this feedback only sent to the lecturers every 8 weeks, and we don't know if the lecturer actually read the logbook or not. And even uh, even if all the lecturers have read the logbook, um, we don't know if we don't see any actions or feedback coming from lecturers to the students. How should they uh, how can they do better in their job and grow themselves even more. So yeah, this is the hope is fixing very good point. Yeah, I think like let's not talk about that part more anymore because I'm not here to promote the thing. Yeah,
That's great. That was a very great explanation of the noble motivation behind the creation of this platform.
yeah.
Um, Huaiyu, do you have any more to add on to today's session?
I think no. I think I have talked like more than I should. It's like over time for I don't know how long already. Yeah.
If it's not much of a last word, so we just conclude the session by having a photo lah. Is that okay?
Okay. But actually, I was suggest that you can just take a photo anytime during the talk instead of like asking for a photo at the end. It's kind of like awkward. Okay. Let's take a photo.
We'll definitely put it in our improvement feedback to be improved. So we shall go on with this one first lah, before we can actually improve on it. Aiman, are you okay? Are you ready? Okay. Can start counting down. It's a bit awkward, Huaiyu.
Yeah, I know it's a bit very awkward. I don't know how to. Yeah. One last questions. I see Weipo is asking one last questions.
The one last question is pending.
Oh yeah, okay. Online interview.
Should we wear like jiaxiong, the full suit, or should we just go in a smart casual or pajamas?
You can over prepare, but even though you can try to ask the employers, the interviewers, that is it gonna be a video call or just it is just an audio call? You can ask. Yeah. But I think that it helped me to be more confident in talking or answering questions or what. That I wear more proper, that I wear like what I would wear to interviewers to the interviews, that will help them more. Because like if you are wearing a pajamas when doing an interview, your mood is that your body is like adapt to the pajamas, that when you're wearing it, you're gonna be expecting you are sleeping on the bed already. Yeah, it's better to to wear something more proper.
What do you wear for the Imagine on-site interview?
I wear like formal shirt and yeah. But after that actually in Imagine we have rules like every Monday we need to wear formal. But there's no developers or engineers are following the rules. It's that all developers we are all wearing t-shirts every day. So I think for the first month or first 2 or 3 weeks, the Mondays I wear formal in the office, but I feel like there's nobody wearing formal, and then I just quit and wear t-shirts. Yeah.
You're just blending with the culture after that.
Yeah. I even took off my shoes in the office.
Oh, that was a great sharing today. I think that's all from the last question. And if you have any thing to add on, Huaiyu?
Yeah. No.
Nope, then we'll end this session. Thank you, Huaiyu, for joining us today. And it was a very structured sharing, and we got a lot of information out of that, especially for AI students and myself as well.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.